we're going to learn about adverbs of frequency. We use adverbs of frequency to help us know how often something happens. What do we mean by frequency? Well, when you're waiting for the bus, you can find out from the timetable how often the bus comes along. It could be every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes. This is the frequency. It tells you how often the bus will come in an amount of time. Adverbs of frequency are very useful when talking about your daily routine. You can talk about the things that you do in your life on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, but it helps your listener to understand how often you do these things. Do they happen a lot? A little bit? Or not at all? Let's look at some examples to help us understand better. I can use the word every day for something that I do every day. For example, brush my teeth. Every day I brush my teeth. An adverb of frequency which has a very similar meaning to every day is always. I always brush my teeth in the morning. So, if we want to talk about things that happen all the time, every day, 100%, we use the adverb of frequency always. What about things that we do 50% of the time? For example, in the week, you might do it 3 days out of the 7 days or 4 days out of the 7 days. This word is sometimes. I sometimes go for a run in the park. Now, what about something that I don't do? 0%. The word for this, the adverb of frequency, is never. I never drink coffee in the morning because I always drink tea in the morning. So that's 100% always, 50% sometimes, and 0% never. But there are other words, adverbs of frequency, that we can use in the middle of these. For example, something that you do more than sometimes, but not always, maybe 80% of the time. Something that you do a lot. Maybe in 1 week you could do it 6 of the 7 days or 5 of the 7 days. You can use the adverbs of frequency often, or usually, or normally. These all have the same meaning, and you can choose to use which one you like. Now, what about something that you don't do a lot, but you can't say I never do it because maybe you've done it once or twice? In this case, we can use the word hardly ever. Hardly ever. Or rarely. Rarely. So this would be about 10 or 15% of the time.
My name is Martha. I am a housewife. I always get up at 6 o'clock. I never sleep late. I usually have breakfast. I sometimes walk to the shops. I usually ride my bicycle. I never watch television. I always clean the house in the morning. Then I sometimes have a bath. I always collect my children at 3 p.m. This is my favorite part of the day.
Questions. How often do you cook? How often do you go out to eat? How often do you wash your car? How often do you barbecue? How often do you read? How often do you walk your dog? How often do you watch TV? How often do you have coffee? How often do you exercise? How often do you relax? How often do you see a movie? How often do you wash the dishes? How often do you study? How often do you get a haircut? How often do you talk on the telephone?